Today's Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014, and you're tuned into the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. To find out how you can make a difference, visit their website today, www.eesf.org.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good to be back after a 1-week hiatus, I guess I should say. All right. Yeah, thank you. But it's good to be back. Yeah, last week was just one of those weeks where literally I could not get it over quick enough. Just, you have those, right? Where, and as I mentioned in my post last week, I did not, it's not as if I slept in last Wednesday. I was actually up early trying to get stuff done. And, this week is a little bit less crazy and busy. And part of the reason why last week was so busy was because we had conferences for the kids, which it was just a busy week. That's all I should say. I don't want to talk badly about anything, so that's about it. But it is good to be back after being off a week, and I do have some great content for you in terms of personal stuff. Busy at home. Football for two of my little guys is wrapping up in 2 weeks, actually. This Sunday is their last game. Unfortunately, neither Owen nor Quinn made it through the season unscathed. Unfortunately, Owen, I think, has a fracture in his hand that occurred during the game on Friday, last Sunday, and then also Quinn has been out for concussion, which is not good. And unfortunately, to me, he always seems like he has a concussion, so I kind of question whether he does or not. But anyway, that's a whole other story for another day. And but the good news is that they've started club volleyball, which is pretty cool. But again, that means that it's busy. I mean, Tiffany and I have really went through most of their childhood unscathed and having to run them from point A to point B to point C to point D, which so many, I don't want to call them nuclear families, do these days, but so many families in today's world just basically, I feel like, over schedule their kids. It's just one of those deals where I'm like, how can anybody not be exhausted after a day of going to school, going to soccer practice, going to hockey, then whatever. It's unbelievable. But if they love it, they love it. I just wonder sometimes if that's indeed the case. So anyway, so it'd be good to have football over, and then volleyball will go into full swing, and we will hopefully have a pretty good volleyball season and less injuries. So, but hey, if you have seen the fall colors shown in the blog post over at elevatorradioshow.com, hopefully you're enjoying those. I love fall. It just seems like this year it is going way too quickly, but it's typically the case for this time of the year, unless you're in the southern hemisphere and you're basically enjoying spring at this time, moving into summer. But the reality is hopefully you get a chance to get out before it gets cold, before it's gloom and doom and everything is dark and dreary, which we're moving into, unfortunately. So hopefully get out and enjoy that, sometime soon before it's all gone. So I mentioned last week in the show notes that, actually, let me take a step back. Nicole Aiden actually stopped by last Wednesday, and it was great to meet with her. and Nicole is the associate director of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. We did a little quick interview, and I was going to have that on today's show. It's about 15 minutes long, I believe, and I am going to post that over the weekend. It's just going to be the easiest thing to do. I did not get a chance to convert that over to the file format I needed to insert into the program. And as many of you know, this is a show that goes from the start to the finish, no editing other than just converting it to an MP3 file for the audio iTunes link, and other than that, video part gets uploaded. So it's about as much time as I have to get kind of editing done, and that's why the show is what it is, which is, I think, totally okay. So anyway, so I got slammed with emails this week. It's crazy. I signed up for a New Jersey website that is kind of a law-based site. I'm telling you, I don't remember clicking on the box that said, oh, subscribe to everything. I just wanted to read an article, and to do that, they got my email address. I must have had 300 emails from these people in New Jersey, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I spent the better part of the morning going through that, and there were a couple press releases. I'll get to them on the next program, and just because it just seems like I don't have a ton of time to get actually into that right now. So I did clear them out. There are about 4 or 5. I'll cover them in the next program, and as always, send your email comments to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com. And so anyway, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and we'll get up into the news next.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, the first news article or link for today's show was sent over on Saturday by Jim Harity. And Jim, thank you so much for sending this over. This really hits home. And for those of you out there who have never, shouldn't say never, for those of you out there that have ever been involved in either a local government or inspector or some type of process where the elevator code that it was either adopted or was put in place, whether it be A17.1 or A17.3 or whatever year it was basically rescinded, or something was changed to it, where you're going, scratching your head going, why in the world would you take a perfectly good elevator code and just delete certain parts of it, and you and I both know why that reason is, but the reality is Jim shared this article that really hits home with those of you out there that are part of the inspection community, as well as trying to ensure that elevators, escalators, and moving walkways are safer. So the reality is this is a concern that occurs more often than not, and we all know to some degree why codes are not adopted, and a lot of the times this is based on my own experience. So again, you may have a different experience, but a lot of the time the pushback comes obviously from the building owners or from the homeowners or whomever is going to be affected greatly from the changes. And if you read this article that was posted by the NFPA, the journal, regarding a cautionary tale in which code changes that disregard safety can have tragic results, this is what I'm talking about. And it is not enough to simply state, well, it's grandfathered, or, it's going to cost too much money to put a GFCI outlet in a wet location, or whatever. This is the reason why we fight for codes that make equipment safer. Now, I totally understand the relationship between cost and safety. I understand that completely. And in terms of financial burden to buildings or buildings that have equipment that is unsafe, there needs to be some type of minimum in terms of making sure equipment is safe that we ride and learn on. So, Jim, thanks for including me in your email. Greatly appreciate it. But read this article, and this will hit home in terms of where you're at. And again, I'm sure many of you are raising your hand right now saying, yeah, you know what, I've been involved in something like this. And it's very frustrating when you're so close to making equipment safe only to have something removed from the Safety Act or whatever. So moral of the story is that the code is there for a reason. It's not just some silly huge book that we like to put on a bookshelf shelf and read it. So anyway, Okay, next news article: a woman 91 hurt in Wellgate Center escalator plunge. I think I covered this 2 weeks ago. I just can't remember. Apparently, she had fallen down the escalator, and again, kind of scary. It's anybody who might have some kind of stability issue, or obviously anybody who's older. Not to take anything away from anybody who's older, but yeah, it's kind of scary to think that this could happen so easily. But it doesn't take much to lose one's balance. Another article from Channel 5, CBS 5, Arizona. 1 dead, 2 others injured after lift accident. I covered this one on a previous show too. I'm not sure why this came up in my news aggregator. This happened in Mississippi, where again it was a homemade lift where the floor gave out and killed 1 person and injured 2 others. So again, reason why elevator codes are there is to make sure that the equipment that's designed, installed, and maintained is done so in a manner that does not include garage door openers, somebody welding stuff and thinking it's going to work, and some winch cable that they believe will do the lifting of 4 people on the lift that may not. So, when the person who's designed the lift kind of figures, well, yeah, this is a lift that can lift 500 pounds, not or 1,000 pounds for that matter, and doing the math for the people, but not necessarily doing the math for what the equipment might weigh. Anyway, so again, kind of relates together on that as well. Okay, this is the next article. You don't see this every day. New adjustable multi-flex elevator egg lift, and if you you like eggs, I like eggs, sure. This is a elevator for eggs, and it shows you that elevators not only move people, but they move poultry and parts of poultry and stuff that we eat. So anyway, this is from the poultrysite.com, and if you thought that an elevator-related industry site was not unique and strange, there's one for poultry as well, as there should be, honestly, Anyway. Okay, next news article, standardspeaker.com, reporting that Hazleton office will not pay firm for elevator project. This is the first time I've ever seen an article like this. And bear with me one moment here. This was just in there. Where did it go? You know what? It's gone. Article is gone. I wonder why did it go away? There we go. It's there. Just hit back. See, I got to sign in again. Oh, man, I'm going to get a million emails by these people. Okay, let me see if I can read it through the gray area. I can't read it. My point is that, when elevators go down and the public report on it 9 times out of 10, or I got to say, it's not necessarily, doesn't always have to do with the fact that there may not be a part available, if that makes sense. If you want to search that up, go ahead and do it. A lot of the times they don't talk about the fact that bills may not have been paid. So that's pretty critical. It's going to pop up again. Yep, forget that. All right, I'm going to get out of here and just make it a lot easier. And hey, how many of you out there have primaries going on right now, or elections? I have to tell you that Illinois has got to have one of the worst campaigns for governor. I am so tired and sick of each one of the candidates just backstabbing each other. It makes you think like, oh my God, have we come to a world or a time in human interaction that this is what we've, it's awful. I mean, between Governor Quinn and Rauner or whatever his name is, it's just like they don't talk about any kind of issues other than just trying to drag each other through the mud. I know it's always been like that, but it just seems really ugly this year in Illinois, and it's really unfortunate. So it's not good at all. Okay, 100-year-old birdcage elevator video. I think I might have posted this before. It's from Andrew Reams. If you want to check that out, this is in San Francisco. You don't see one of these every day, and I think it's pretty slick, to say the least. So check that out, and when you get a chance. Okay, latest elevator accident in Bulgaria caused by, and I left this as a cliffhanger, caused by human error, irresponsible behavior, institution. I don't know what that means, but apparently a 50-year-old man died on Saturday after plunging out an elevator shaft. The investigation found that the elevator was working properly, and the accident was caused by human error and irresponsible behavior. Apparently, based on surveillance, the institution said the elevator in which the woman and 2 men were riding got stuck between the 3rd and 4th floor of a residential building, and unfortunately, they all tried to get out on their own, and one of them obviously fell. Let's see here, what happened? He fell down the elevator shaft. Again, just goes to show you this happens in other countries than in the United States. And yeah, frightening. And I've seen video of these kind of accidents happening. It's awful. It is awful. If you could rewind time and just say something or do something, I wish I could. It's just one of those scary things. Next article, 1940 escalator ride at Burlington Station aimed to allay kids' fears. I don't know what I'm assuming. Right, let me just shut this down. Okay. It's kind of a cool photograph here where Jack Kubat and his fellow kindergartners took an escalator ride in 1940 to prove that the newly fangled feature at Omaha's Burlington Station was safe and easy, which is pretty cool. I imagine back in the day that was a concern for most when they saw stairs moving. You wonder what kind of safety messages were out there and what they were told. So, but Jack, who was 4 at the time, remembers it quite well. I don't know quite how, but they wanted to make sure people weren't worried about it. Let me see if he talks about any kind of. They don't talk about any kind of. Oh yeah, well you know what they coined the escalator as. Actually, escalators have been invented decades earlier, but they weren't definitely, so to speak, on the rise. Burlington Railroad had run an ad in the paper announcing escalator moving stairway service starting December 9, 1939. The ad called it a new convenience for passengers, a streamlined stainless steel escalator to carry travelers quickly and effortlessly between station concourse and train level. It's kind of cool, but anyway, it doesn't look as if they talked anything about the safety. Pretty cool article. It's nice to recognize and learn more and document those of our population who are older and have some great stories to share. Okay, next article: 4 workers hurt in elevator accident in Izmir. I don't know where that's at. I didn't get a chance to Google it, but apparently it's coming from HurriyetDailyNews.com. And let's see what it says here. 4 workers were found after an elevator fell 5 stories during the construction of a building in the western province of Izmir on October 17th. Anyway, they were installing the buildings. It looks like this is an outside type of lift that's on the building. And as many of you know or have seen these or ridden on them, they're not always up to the latest safety code even when they're inspected. I've seen ones that are missing holes in the floor, all sorts of crazy stuff. It makes me kind of like scratch my head going, how in the world can somebody inspect this and realize that or if it's not inspected. So kind of scary. Okay, here's another kind of scary story coming from China. I know we have some listeners in China or perhaps the government. I don't know. But apparently 29 were hurt as overloaded lift plunges 12 floors in China. Yeah, 29 is a pretty big number of people to be on an elevator. And I just, they're linking it to the fact that obviously it was overloaded, but yeah, 29. That's a lot of people. So you can read more about that in the show link on the page. ElevatorU.org has their 2015 registration site open, so go ahead and get signed up for that. You have 243 days left to do so. Just go ahead and click on the widget there, or the little button, and you can get transported to the Register Now button. That's June 23rd to the 25th, Columbus, Ohio. Kathy Harper will be the host school or the professional member who is the conference host. Looking forward to that. And if you want to get there early, the weekend before, they have there's some kind of country music festival going on. So it might be a nice kind of extended vacation for you. Here's this terrible story that I don't think anything could ever. You couldn't make a sign or educate anybody enough to prevent something like this. This is more of a freak accident from occurring. Although, you just wonder, where was the baby held? Yeah, 24/7. Emirates website reporting that baby dies after slipping from mother's arms on mall escalator. It's awful. Awful. So apparently she died when she fell from the 2nd floor of the mall's escalator. I mean, I don't know whether or not they put the baby on the hand. I don't know. I swear to you, somebody please file a patent or come up with the plexiglass tube that encases escalators. I know it's going to be expensive. It's probably not going to meet code, but we can't stop stupid people. And I'm not saying this person's stupid. I'm talking about the yahoos that are on the stadium escalators that are half blitzed and trying to slide down a rubber handrail. But this is awful. I mean, I can't imagine, and it's just so sad. It's just so sad, and it's a freak accident. But what are you gonna do? Put a sign up with a baby, not on an escalator handrail and with an X through it? It's just terrifying. Just terrifying. Yeah, it's like the worst story to read about, unfortunately. Okay, escalator lifts in Kochi come under scanner. Times of India reporting that following Sunday's accident in Lulu Mall, where a 15-month-old girl died after falling from an escalator, the Department of Electrical Inspectorate has decided to inspect all escalators and lifts in the city. Okay, in the wake of the accident, they're going to do that, which is probably not a bad idea. But let's see here. I did scroll down here where there were. Okay, here we go. Meanwhile, passengers at the Ernakulam Junction Railway Station demanded authorities to provide an escalator assistant. Many passengers, particularly senior citizens, are still afraid to use the escalator, and there have been many instances where aged people have fallen on the escalator during heavy rush. I don't know. Maybe this is how we put America back to work. I don't mean to belittle it, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe we need escalator ambassadors and escalator and elevator ambassadors. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Okay, Andrew Reams got a cool video of his visit with a cute little boy who loves elevators, Daniel. And if you want to watch some video footage of that, please do so. I was lucky enough to correspond with Daniel's mother, and I got to say, he's a cute little boy. He is awesome, and we as an industry, I think, should do our part in supporting those that may have a disability, or those that might love elevators, but support them in a way that is not necessarily going to put them in harm's way, obviously, but just in supporting their passion for lift equipment. Okay, next news article: funny escalator signs, but they make sense. Again, Elevator World Unplugged has a great photo, and the first one is classic. I mean, maybe this is what we have to get to, where we're going to create a whole bunch of signs that literally show what could happen. I mean, I don't know how you'd show somebody falling over the side of an escalator, but again, you wouldn't see this in America at this point in time. I don't know what country it's in, but some pretty funny signs here. Anyway, so get over and subscribe to the Elevator World Unplugged blog as well. They got some good content over there that gets posted. Okay, no elevator now for Scranton City Hall, and this is the same Scranton that the office is filmed in the city, I should say. Channel 16 WNAP, and let's see if we can play the video and see how ridiculous this is. If it'll get through the. Well, if that didn't wake you up, I don't know what will. So if you're interested in going to Keystone College, feel free to do that. So let's see. A little bit left. Here we go.
If people in Scranton need city services for the next month, they may have to take the stairs. City officials say the elevator at City Hall stopped running between the 3rd and 4th floors on Friday. Several parts need to be replaced, and the workers say that should take about a month to repair. Some workers from offices on the upper floors have moved to the basement of Scranton City Hall to help people who may be disabled and can't get up the stairs.
There you go. Nice little blurb. Noting that, obviously some issues, so I guess the month isn't so long. But again, architects that might be listening to the show, put 2 elevators in a building. Minimum. All right. Okay, next news article. The City of Chicago is going to be presenting at the Chicago Elevator Association next Thursday. If you haven't already RSVP'd, please feel free to do so. The CEA meeting November handout is in on their website. So yeah, they'll be talking about the AIC program, and those of you that are not sure what that is I forgot what it stands for because I have attention deficit disorder, but it is a program where permits can be pulled by building owners within a certain, not permits, inspections and anyway, third-party kind of inspection deal things. Learn more about it, come to the meeting, and that's probably the best way of sharing with you. And the last news article of this week's program, and man, we had this done in no time. I hate linking these types of articles, but it just goes to show you that, hey, casinos have lots of money, right? I hope they have attorneys that are even more tenacious in terms of what they do for the casinos, because a man sues Harris Casino for allegedly being stuck in an elevator for an hour, which, come on. You think I just hope they fight it tooth and nail, and I hope whoever's representing the man who was in the elevator, I hope his attorney takes everything that he may get in a settlement. I guess that's kind of mean. I apologize. I take that back, but it's bothersome. It is what it is. Anyway, so that's pretty much going to do it for the show, everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today, and as always, it's been my pleasure. Hope everybody has a safe rest of the week out there and a safe and a fun weekend. If you have any comments or questions or whatnot, send them to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com. All right, everybody, we'll talk to you next Wednesday. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.